going to make the lunge down the inside. Hamilton sees him coming. It's a late lunge by Verstappen, who takes the lead of the race. Verstappen!
After an absolutely stellar performance at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, Max Verstappen went from being criticized to celebrated. Sky Sports and the FIA had some strong responses, leading to an ongoing clash over race biases, media roles, and Max's own unapologetic stance. This is one video you don't want to miss out. So, let's break it down. Max's Sao Paulo Grand Prix drive was something else. Coming from P17, Max clawed his way up the grid in relentless wet conditions, ultimately clinching a performance that has been hailed as one for the ages.
Sebastian Vettel onto the grass. Daniel Ricciardo, safety car has been deployed, and no one's going to be able to come into the pits yet, Martin, because he's blocking the pit lane entrance.
Yeah.
Hamilton's got a good start again, as for the second time in this race.
Even Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris had trouble with the conditions. And yet Max? Well, he seemed untouchable. But as incredible as the race itself was, the drama didn't stop at the checkered flag. Post-race, Max made a cheeky comment about the absence of the British press at the press conference, saying, "I don't see any British press here." He had a glint in his eye, and those in the room burst out laughing. But here's the kicker, this joke stirred up quite the reaction on social media, where people couldn't help but debate, was Max subtly pointing out a British bias in F1, or was he just having fun at the media's expense? Max Verstappen's Sao Paulo drive was a wet weather masterclass. First things first, let's talk about that race. Max didn't just win, he put on a show that left everyone talking. Even Red Bull's Christian Horner likened his drive to Ayrton Senna's legendary wet weather performance at Donington in 1993.
Finds grip everywhere else. Okay, you're going there, I'll just go somewhere else then and see how it is out there.
Second place. Behind them comes Sergio Perez, and then Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo, and there's a very wide turn there by Felipe Nasser, almost making contact.
For anyone who knows F1 history, that's a massive compliment. Max's ability to overtake in those conditions had McLaren's Oscar Piastri saying he was pretty much the only one on the track able to pull it off. Christian Horner also pointed out that Max's mental strength and adaptability were key. It wasn't just about speed, it was about understanding the car's limits and handling those brakes on a slippery track. If he had started at the front, some would say that he would have lapped the McLarens. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a masterclass. So, here's a question. Is Max's performance proof that he's becoming one of the all-time greats in wet conditions? Or was this just a one-off moment of brilliance? Now, let's get into the media angle.
It is. Verstappen is close to Rosberg. Hamilton towards the center S as he goes. Under braking, Verstappen is late on Rosberg but can't quite close up. Rosberg keeps that set towards the start-finish line. Rooster tail spraying out from behind that Mercedes wing. That is a major incident for Kimi Räikkönen. He is out of this race, the second Ferrari to have problems.
Sky Sports' David Croft, also known as Crofty, and Will Buxton both responded to Max's comments on X. And what were their reactions? Let's just say they weren't thrilled. Crofty clarified that he doesn't attend the post-race press conferences because they're for written media only. So, he suggested there's no British snub, just journalists doing their jobs, gathering exclusive sound bites in the paddock. But here's the thing, the statement from Crofty didn't sit well with everyone. Buxton added that he hasn't attended a post-race press conference in years, saying he's always on air. But despite these explanations, Max's comments still seem to have struck a nerve. Many fans even noted how, during the live commentary, Crofty was balancing praise for Max with remarks about his dirty driving, leaving some to wonder, is there really an underlying bias? Alright F1 fans, here is one for you. Do you think Max's comment about the British press was a justified call-out, or was he just stirring the pot? Now, let's zoom out for a second and look at this from a broader perspective. It's not every day we bring politics into the F1 world, but stay with us here. With Trump recently re-elected, he's known for his aggressive media style, often clashing with reporters and challenging perceived biases. Max, in a way, seems to be following a similar approach, challenging and poking at the establishment when he feels misrepresented. Like Trump, Max isn't afraid to call it as a season, which resonates with fans who feel like the sport might sometimes favor certain voices or perspectives. This approach, directly addressing what he sees as a pro-British narrative, might just be Max's way of leveling the playing field. And with social media amplifying every comment, it's clear these remarks are part of a larger strategy. Do you think Max's approach, similar to Trump's, could lead to a more direct, vocal culture in F1? And how would that impact the sport as we know it? Now, this media clash wouldn't be complete without bringing in Johnny Herbert. Herbert, an FIA steward and commentator, has been in hot water lately, especially with Max's father, Max Verstappen.
Because he's blocking the pit lane entrance. Hamilton's got a good start again, as for the second time in this race, he leads the field away as the safety car peels in. Hamilton then, from Rosberg, accelerating up towards the main straight they go. Behind them, under pressure, is the Red Bull, and it's Kimi Räikkönen into the wall, and he almost collects the Red Bull, who does actually hit the front.
Those criticized Herbert's dual role, saying that stewards should avoid public commentary that could bias their official decisions. Herbert, however, defended his right to critic Max and other drivers, claiming that his personal opinions don't interfere with his FIA duties. In his words, "Why can't I share my opinions outside the racetrack? It's my job as a commentator." But here's the issue. When you're both a steward and a pundit, the lines can get blurry. By airing these opinions, Herbert risks undermining the neutrality expected of a steward. He even compared himself to Martin Brundle, another F1 pundit, but the comparison doesn't entirely hold. Brundle doesn't work directly with the FIA, while Herbert does. This dual role has fans and insiders questioning, shouldn't stewards stay out of public commentary? So, here's something to think about. Should FIA stewards really be publicly sharing their opinions on drivers, or does it create an unavoidable perception of bias that hurts the sport? As we wrap up, let's take a step back. Max Verstappen's win in Sao Paulo wasn't just another race, it's shaping up to be one of those legendary performances that fans will talk about for years. Yet, his unapologetic approach to the media, combined with the response from figures like Crofty, Buxton, and Herbert, highlight deeper tensions within F1. Max isn't just challenging drivers on the track, he's questioning the narratives that shape how the world views him and the sport. So, what does this mean for the future of F1? With Max leading the charge, we could be seeing a more outspoken and media-savvy generation of drivers. A generation willing to call out biases, hold media accountable, and perhaps even reshape the F1 media landscape as we know it. But let's not forget, all of this raises one key question. How much should a driver's media interactions impact their legacy? And what happens if the sport itself starts to shift with more media influence? Alright F1 fans, your turn. Was Max right to call out the media, or should he have let his performance speak for itself? And what are your thoughts on Johnny Herbert's dual role? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're a fan of Max's Sao Paulo performance, and don't forget to subscribe for all things F1 right here. See you next time.